Thank you for tuning in to Spin It Again, where we talk real music. I'm Kayla Agnos, your host. Welcome back if you listened before, and if you're new here, we're glad to have you. I'd like to welcome today's guest, Jayla Torado.
Hi!
And today we're going to be discussing Harry Styles' newest album titled Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. Harry Styles, as I'm sure most of you know, began his stardom with the band One Direction. Sadly for everyone, 1D is now disbanded. However, Harry started his solo career releasing his pop music around 2017 with his debut album. The album was followed by his release of one of his most popular albums titled Harry's House, and that kind of kindled his solo fame. I'm pretty sure we all know his mainstream songs like Watermelon Sugar and Adore You. I personally have always been a fan of him. Yes, I was a Directioner when 1D was still a thing, so I got a head start on being a fan. I would say my favorite songs are definitely Music for a Sushi Restaurant and Sign of the Times.
Yeah, my favorite songs by him are probably Daylight and Lights, but I'm really a long-time listener, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan of his genre and style of music because he reminds me a little bit of a modern-day Billy Joel, and Billy Joel is absolutely my favorite artist of all time. So when I was coming to listen to this album, I definitely expected it to be good. I've loved all of his albums so far, and his vibe is something that I've always enjoyed. So I expected this to be nothing less than good.
Yeah, he's been gone for a long time, so my expectations for this album are really high, and honestly, I think my expectations were a little bit too high. There were definitely really good songs on the album, but some of them kind of let me down.
Yeah, I agree.
My favorite song on the album is Season 2 Weight Loss. The song is very singable, if that makes sense. The song was stuck in my head the whole day, and even at work, I found myself humming it frequently.
Yeah, funny enough, that one's actually also my favorite. I really like the lyrics, and if you know me, you know that anything with a synth background always reminds me of Stranger Things, and I automatically love it. So I definitely think that was the vibe of the song, and I really enjoyed it. But another song that I really enjoyed that was probably my second favorite was the title track that was released before the entire album was. It was pre-release. It was called Aperture. I think that song really sets up the rest of the album and gave us a good taste as to what we were in for before it was released.
Yeah, I really think that this album is a good mix of all of Harry's different genres. It totally has those songs that are more slow and sentimental, but also switches up with the more upbeat, poppy ones that represents his usual style really well.
I definitely agree with that notion, but I think that if you're a new Harry Styles listener, you should definitely start with listening to something like Harry's House as a starter. I think it's overall just a better album and a more solid introduction to Harry's best music.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There are definitely some songs on the album that are 10 out of 10, but there are also some that I'm not really the biggest fan of that kind of bore me in a way.
Yeah, I overall think it's a really solid album. I would probably rate it about 7 out of 10, but once again, I suggest going to listen to a different album if you're just getting into listening to him.
Yes, I think so as well. The album's really good, but there's definitely better.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Spin It Again, and thank you, Jayla, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Join us next time for our next album review.
Bye!